showcase presenter today is Chris Dobbins. He holds the social media marketing category in our chapter, and as we all know, he's a guru at that. So he's been in business since 2005, and together with his wife Sharon, they've got two girls and a young toddler. And he's also got another daughter from a previous relationship who's in her 20s. Their pets include a dog and two cats, and his hobbies include cycling, touch rugby, cooking, wine tasting, golf, and entertaining. At the moment, he's living in Ballarat, and he's been there for 3 years. His previous job types include working at a St Kilda top advertising agency and worked on major campaigns, including Mars, Telstra, Berry, Robert Timms, Saab, and ME Banking, amongst other brands. His burning desire is to get back to Barcelona. Something here no one might know about him. He won an award in the advertising industry in the early 90s for developing those annoying interactive banners on websites with the drop downs. His key to success is to have a great attitude and a desire to persist. So over to our marketing guru, should I say our social media guru, over to you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Sophia. I really appreciate Sorry, Helen, thank you for that. All good. All right. So I'm going to take over the screen and share away. So PowerPoint presentation. Here we are. All right. Okay, so what I've decided to talk to you today about is how to get results from your social media marketing, and obviously making it work for you, because a lot of people do social media marketing, but it doesn't get the results. So they don't know how to manage those results, or they don't know how to sort of manage success with it. What does that look like for them? So I'm hopefully today, by the end of this, you'll find ways to look into that for you. So, but firstly, as Helen touched on, father of 4, including my identical twins, who are keeping super busy, but thank goodness school is back. So that's teaching me a whole new way to get some time back to myself. But I wasn't busy enough, so I went out and got a puppy. So now I have a puppy to deal with on top of everything else. So my hands are full, along with the chickens, the budgies, the fish, and the Burmese cats. So I almost have my own little hobby farm going on back here in Ballarat. So, and obviously I was born in Ballarat, went down to study, did things in Melbourne, loved Melbourne, but family situation allowed me to come back here. Thought I'd take it up. This COVID thing hit, and now I'm back here. So it's kind of like, I know things happen for a reason, as many of you know in this group, and here we are. So I won't go over some of this stuff because actually Helen touched on it, but that is what I've been up to in the past. What that led me to was creating Cube, which is a strategic and creative and execution component to it. Now, a lot of you understand that I do social media, but I do like applying strategic and creative to that process rather than just be a tactical social media person. I've worked on that, and I bring all the brand experience that I've had with all the clientele that I've worked over the years. And these are some of the brands I've worked with in all sorts of different ways. So through that experience, I then get to apply that to small business, which is why I ended up being the social guy that you guys all know me today. Because what I realized was a number of years ago that social media brings all those skill sets together, but it's the big brands get this, they've got the agencies, they've got all that world. It's the little guys that weren't getting the help, but they had the most opportunity and the biggest advantage that they just didn't know about. So I wanted to help businesses work on those strategies. And I came up with a structure that allows people to get there. And I've applied that to things that are now working for clients. And I guess a lot of you don't know me more than just a social guy, but I just want to understand that I do apply a tracking tool to everything I do, so I can try and get results and analyze what's going on for my clients. I actually have a really great experience in email marketing. I know how to make email marketing work for your online marketing, and it's actually an underutilized tool. You should be using email marketing because the people you have as clients generally want to hear from you. So you should be using that medium. And then obviously I apply that to strategy. What you'll see at the very bottom there is something I apply to everything I do, and it's about using digital advertising to get people to know you. If you don't know who you're putting the ads in front of and what you do there, they won't know about you. So they need to know you first to then make a decision where they're going to be able to find you, trust you, like you, convert. And then obviously, you know, people in this room become advocates because they work with us and they tell others about our business. And that's what we ideally want. So I really work on those strategies to help your business be differentiated in your local area, by bringing your brand to you and you're looking at your competitors in your local area and trying to make where you stand out from them. So you're top of mind through either your network community or the target audience in your local area. Most of us don't utilize the backyard that we have in our own area as the foundation to build on. Now, some of you in this group, your audience may be global, right? But there is still a backyard here, and that's hence why you're part of BNI at the moment, is because this works, this whole local networking and getting to know each other, building the relationships and then growing. That's what I try to apply when I do social media. Now, I apply this to business goals, and I really look forward to having more conversations with Jacinta about this, because as a business coach, she knows the importance of business strategy and where you apply that. So I really look forward to ways that every member is working with Jacinta at the end of the day. And then where I'm working with you because you've worked with Jacinta, and we can apply her learnings and what she's learned from what you do to what I do, because I become a tactical extension of what Jacinta does. And a lot of people come to me straight to the roof to get promotion done, but they don't understand the fundamentals. And that's why I use the house analogy, is because if you don't have good foundations in your house, eventually it's going to fall down and tumble down. So I've got a document here that I can send out to people. So if you want this document, I will send it on to you. On the back of that document, it has this who, what, why, where approach. And the reason why this is really important is I want to understand who your primary audience is. I want to know who we're targeting. If you know who your audience is, your niche, we can then look at problems to solve. Once you know you're solving problems for people, then it's like, what action do you want them to take? And is it, do you want them to purchase things? Do you want them to inquire? Do you want them to connect with you? Do you want them to actually download something so that then you can do some follow-up work? Like, these are the things you need to think about to make your social media interactive and working for you. The thing about those actions is they end up with a result. How many people did that action? Then how often were they doing it, and when were they doing it? And then we can look at that data and then look at behavior that can maybe lead to future opportunity to do better next time around, whenever that is. I won't go through this right now, but again, this is what I'm going to be offering to whoever wins today's award prize. Is I'll go through this with you in detail, and we'll end up with some kind of result at the end of it that allows you to have a plan to go out and find that audience. Now, Denise wasn't aware of this, so hopefully you're fine with this today, Denise, but I really wanted to highlight, this is some work I've been doing with Denise, and I've applied this same strategy I've just gone through with you to her. And you'll see 2 rows of Denise's work here. And the reason for that is the first part of the process was to get people aware of Denise, know her face, get to know who she is, understand what she's communicating, and use those words next to her, so that now I know Denise is a person that's going to obviously have something to make me feel good about nutrition, mindset, and things. If there's more detail on this, by the way, obviously we have 2 people in this room that do great work in these areas, and they take this to another level for Denise when she needs to. But Denise does this in a holistic way with her personal training, so I don't want any confusion around that. What you'll see on the second row is where I've now taken Denise and said, hey, Denise, everyone now knows who you are. Now we need to put the audience in front of them and say, this is what you look like, and here's some things to prompt you to say, Denise can help you. So that's why in the second row, you're seeing me putting what is, in Denise's case, her ideal audience. And so we're putting someone's in that position to see what they're doing, seeing her communication, her brand, what she's going to solve for them in their thing. So they hopefully will react to that, and you've got a higher chance of that response rate. So that's just a good example of showing how I'm applying what I do to Denise to give that same strategy and hopefully have that success from awareness, and then also seeing myself in that solution that she provides. So what I've talked about there is raising awareness, getting people to understand who you are. So you need to be putting messages out so that people know you're there. If you're not putting it out there, no one knows you exist, okay? Now that they know you exist, they've got to go find you. So make sure you've got a social page, or you've got a website, or you've got a landing page, or you've got something that allows them to do something once they find you. Then when they're there, they're going to build a reputation. And through that reputation, they're going to either build a conversion, they're going to buy from you directly, or they're going to go tell someone about you. So think about the fact that every time you're working with somebody, that person is leading to a new opportunity for them to refer business to you. What I have is a snapshot, and that tells you how that's looking and how that's going. So I'd love people, if you could, jump on that, get your snapshot. What it'll do is it'll tell you what you're ranking against other people in your industry or your local area. It'll also tell you things like you don't exist, or you've got a spelling mistake, or you've got a wrong phone number. You may have changed address during COVID and you haven't updated these things. It'll tell you that kind of stuff. So as I've just talked about, in what I've just touched on there is it's getting to know who you are. Once people know who you are, they find you, they trust you. That leads to conversions and more sales and remaining, loyal customers to what you do. Now, how do I do this? I've got 3 ways I work with people. Is I either do it for you. So you give me what you're trying to do. We go through that strategy and then, I go off and do it for you. There's a middle one in there where I actually do it with you. And this is the kind of thing I'm doing with Denise at the moment. Denise is amazing at what she does, but she just needs a few tweaks here and there, and I help her out with that, or she doesn't have the time to do certain things. So I fill in that gap and I do the strategic approach. She does the face-to-face stuff with the clients, and that's how we kind of work together. And then there's the do it for yourself. I have a few clients where they sit down and do that strategy with me, but they've got it under control. They know how to look after their own side of things, and they go out there and do that. So they're the do it for yourself type people. So if you know anyone, thanks, Helen, that I'll go through that process with them. Now, what I do with social media is I actually look at ways that we can target the audience. So once you know who they are, you can then now spend advertising money more effectively because you know who you're targeting and you're more likely to get conversions from that. With this, I use remarketing. So there's a number of clients I work with where we get traffic to the website. So that's the first behavior, is getting them to the website. Now that they've been there, a lot of you I know have gone on holidays before COVID, and you found that you did that research. And then for some reason, you popped up with all these ads saying that you didn't buy a ticket, but we'd still love you to come to Hawaii or Echuca or wherever it was you're going. So that's what remarketing is. And it's a highly effective way to get conversion. So if you'd like to learn more about what remarketing is, I'd love to have a chat with you about that. A good example of that is one of our ex-members who I'm still working with since he left the group because he's getting results, and that is Yazdan from Perfect Blinds. And this is the example of an ad that we've worked on where he's using lead forms to get lead generation, and he is literally getting 3 or 4 leads a day. That's the thing. He's getting opportunity, as he's just trying to keep up with it. So when it comes to posting, I really want to emphasize it's, your message and how frequently you use social media. So it's being consistent. Don't just post today, leave it alone and post next week. It's got to be consistent because people need to see you top of mind. Not everyone buys every day. So think about how you can do that. It's really the key to success. I won't go through that because we're running out of time. Just want to finish with, when it comes to building a strong social media presence, getting likes and follows, it's great. I love being liked. I love being followed, but I'd rather have 10 people who buy from me than 100 that don't. So think about, are they responding to what you're posting, and are they getting results from what you're doing? So think about, I'd rather have higher engagement than more people like me. And that's what I'd really like you to take away from today. Some important is content. It won't be popular. So what I find with clients is they want every post to be liked. Sometimes a post doesn't need to be liked. It just needs to be seen, just so that it's enforcing the message that you're trying to enforce. So think about, sometimes the post might be just that there's an upcoming bass period or something like that. Just let people know that you're around for when that time comes around. So I just want to thank you for your time today, and obviously visit locallysocially.com or mycubesocial.com.au website to learn more about what I do, or follow me on the socials. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you for your time today, guys.
Thanks so much, Chris. If we can come off mute and give Chris a round of applause for his presentation today. And if you want to find out more and bring more business to Chris, catch up with him for a one-to-one,